Welcome back to Let's Talk with ThisFunktional. I am your host. This is Figueroa at ThisFunktional of ThisFunktional.com. And welcome back. I've been on a little hiatus because now, as you could tell, if you're on youtube.com/ThisFunktional, I'm doing video on my podcast. Yes, I have changed the format of the show a bit. It's going to be probably about 30 minutes long, give or take. And I'm now going to have a video that you could watch over at youtube.com/thisfunctional or thisfunctional.com, wherever you guys want to head, and audio, which you'll get on all of the major podcast platforms. That's my first announcement. There's going to be more announcements coming up later. Suicide Prevention Month ended September 30th, and I did a couple of things over on my instagram.com/thisfunctional, if you want to check it out. I have other stuff that I didn't post up, but I will be posting it up. I took a little break because things were getting hectic once again. As you guys know, if you listen to any of my past podcasts, mental health is extremely important to me, and it's something I chat about often. I feel like a lot of people on social media use mental health as a way to get sympathy and followers. I am not like that. I want people to be okay. If you need help, seek it. If you want to chat with somebody, I'm always available. You could always message me on my social media. I always respond. At least I try to. don't don't act like a bot, and I won't block you or ignore you. If you are being very spammy, I will probably ignore it because I don't like spam, and I get spammed a lot. Um, I understand that mental health is difficult. It's tiring. It's something you don't get over quickly. It's something you work on and you struggle with daily for as long as you need to. Don't feel like you need to live up to anybody else's standards. Move at your pace. I understand that it's more than just a chemical imbalance. It can be an addiction. And it's not just mental, it's chemical, it's physiological, it's physical. It's a lot of things that go into mental health. I will try to continue and do 3 segments on each one of these podcasts. And this is the first segment, of course, an introduction to everything. And I will try to keep it between 5 and 10 minutes just so I can kind of get through a lot of stuff. Other than mental health, which I've also noticed is trending when it comes to the pandemic, is dating in the pandemic. I don't know how many of you people are comfortable out there dating right now. I know I'm not comfortable meeting up in person. I'm not comfortable being out there at the moment. Um, I haven't done any online dating or pandemic dating or whatever it is you want to call it, but I will experiment with certain things and I will bring it to you guys. I want to know what you guys would want to talk about, what you would want to see. Um, I will try to make it happen. I'm not sure how many of the people out there that I know that I would want to do any of this with will be comfortable, but I will make sure that everybody involved in this is comfortable. Um, yeah, I mean, all I really do right now is be with the nephews, play video games, work on the website dysfunctional.com, entertainmentmayhem.com, dysfunctionaljunior.com, and do interviews. I'm also part of a robotics team. I'm a mentor for a robotics team for the first Lego League challenges. I'll be talking about that and other stuff coming up in more of these video podcasts. And I hope instead of doing scheduled podcasts, which I find are very tiresome for me, I can't really stick to a schedule because I feel like I am very much pushed into talking about stuff that I'm not comfortable with or that I don't want to, just to fill content. Instead, what I feel like I'm going to do is whenever I want to talk, I'll turn on this camera, I'll turn on my equipment, which I will also talk about at a later date, and I will record. So you might get 3 podcasts a week, 2 podcasts a week, 1 podcast past a week. At least that's what you'll get. One. At most, you'll probably get 7. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed. This is the end of the first segment, and I hope you continue to watch. Follow me on social media, and I will be back to talk about stuff that I've been watching on streaming sites. Netflix's Baby Season 3, the final season. I am sad to watch this show end. I've enjoyed it since season 1. It was a chaotic first season. Season 2 was very enlightening, and season 3 has been satisfying. It's a nice end. It's a culmination of everything that's happened. If you guys haven't seen Baby, the synopsis off of Netflix, fed up with their families and classmates, 2 teen girls from a wealthy part of Rome are drawn to the city's underworld and start leading double lives. I believe I've talked about the show before. If not, it's basically about these 2 high school girls who become escorts. They're minors and they're escorts, so that's a problem. It's based loosely off of real life events. The 2 leads, Benedetta Porcaroli. I'm not sure if I'm saying that. She plays Emma or Chiara, and Alicia Pagani plays Ludovica. They're amazing in this. I don't know what else to tell you other than the fact that they really make you feel for these 2 girls. They seem both lost and confident at the same time. They're fantastic, and I think if anybody else would have played this, I'm not sure how captivating it would be. I don't know how much the audience would have rooted for them. I mean, even though so much happens to them and they go through so much, and sometimes you want to villainize them, you just can't. You feel for them. You want what's best for them throughout the entire thing, and that's what makes this show so great. Other than that, Giuseppe Maggio plays Fiore, which is kind of like their pimp. Um, he's great in this. He's very menacing and he's frightening, but at the same time, you're more intimidated than you are scared of him, and you can kind of feel for him because he seems at times to really care about these girls. Um, the series, like I said, season 1 is chaotic. You will get into this right off the bat. You will continue to binge watch this show from season 1 to season 3 if you haven't. I know I binge watched season 1. I couldn't wait for season 2. It came out. I binge watched season 2, and when I heard season 3 was the final season, I was a little bit sad and a little bit hesitant to watch it, but I watched it. It's satisfying. Once again, it's sad to watch it end, but so satisfying to watch this final season. Um, Baby's based on true events. The true events, it seems, somewhat more disturbing than the show, and the series is not a chronicling of the events. And I got some of the material for the background off of sources. I will put in the description. Cosmopolitan did a story in 2017. Refinery 29 did a story in 2018. Express.co did a story, and if you guys read Italian, which I do, I will put I think it's a news organization called Il Messaggero. I will put the link because they do the best description of the events and of the case. But let's talk a little bit about the case. The true story of Baby Skijo, which I've been reading that it roughly translates to baby ring or baby prostitute. I'm not quite sure about either one of them, but that is what some of these stories say. The girls, the girls' names were changed in the reports because they were minors, and anonymity was kept. That's the same thing throughout any judicial system. They will, if you're minors, your cases are mostly locked and sealed, and if they are made public, your anonymity is kept. You're referred to by either Jane Doe A or Jane Doe B, or roughly another name similar where they cannot identify who you are. Um, the prostitution is legal in Italy, which is something I didn't know before reading this, but now I do. But sex with minors, which is somebody under 18, is not. And both of these girls in 2014, when the scandal happened, were high school girls. One was 14, one was 15. Some reports say that it was 16, but off of the case reports, it says one was 15. So I went with that age. They did not meet in high school like the show depicts. They were actually middle school friends, and they began to sell their bodies to afford the designer clothes and electronics that they wanted, which was really disturbing to me because, once again, they come from a wealthy family. They are in a wealthy part of town. So it must have been a little bit more than just because they wanted to afford nicer things. The media reported that up to a dozen more girls could have been part of the prostitution ring in the show. It's only these two girls that are from their high school that are doing this. But apparently, according to the media, it was a couple of girls in the high school. It started off after the girls Googled easy way to make money. I'm not, I did Google that, and it did not, prostitution never came up, or escorts, but a lot of job listings did pop up. I think this is wrong and predatory, but that's a whole different story. It was because they wanted to make a large amount of money, so they wouldn't miss out on having the best things. Once again, if they came from a wealthy family, why couldn't they afford these nice things already? That's hugely interesting to me to read. Not sure why, but there must have been something going on there. Um, they followed an online ad posted by an officer of the Italian Alpine Military Service. I could not verify that, but that is part of one of the reports or one of the stories. I think they were ex or former officer or ex officer. I'm not 100% sure, and I am not mentioning names because I cannot verify most of this information. Um, the 15-year-old enjoyed the money. The 14-year-old was pushed into this further by her mother. That's something that's not in the series. The series, both of these girls are doing it for the thrill or the money, and learning that the younger one was pushed further into this because the mother was somewhat upsetting. Well, to me. Um, not, I don't know how some parent could do this to a child. The mother would deter the 14-year-old from her studies and have her work instead. The mother was eventually stripped of parental rights and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Only 6 years seems very lenient to me. She pushed her 14-year-old daughter into prostitution. That definitely deserves something more than 6 years in prison. Um, the 15/16-year-old's mother was the one responsible for going to the police when she grew suspicious of her daughter's income. The girls were bringing in about 500 to 600 euros a day, which is about 340 per performance, which is what the report said they were performances. The pimps set up a two-bedroom apartment for the girls to use. In the show, a more experienced prostitute or escort had that apartment, and in real life, it seems that the pimps were actually the ones responsible for doing this type of arrangement. Once the case started being investigated, a list of at least 50 clients who were drawn in due to the girls' ages, which means that they were in it for minors. A few high profile clients, which included an Italian police officer and an Italian senator, were part of this. One of the pimps was sentenced to 10 years for involvement. The other was sentenced to 7 years for being the one who found the clients. And once again, the person that was bringing in clients drew them in by telling them that these girls were minors. That's all the information that is relevant to this series. Once again, the series is great. It is on Netflix. You can check it out and make sure you let me know whether you enjoyed it or not and what you thought. Thanks for joining for this episode. Some of the things that I believe are going to change from now on from this podcast is they will be much shorter. I will try to get to the point a lot quicker. Uh, there will be bonus episodes. I've heard from people that they enjoy my interviews but don't always have time to be on YouTube, so I will be bringing more interviews, which will be bonus episodes. They will not be actual episodes. This podcast will still be about talking about topics I am passionate about. I will also bring recipes. I've been doing a lot of cooking, or some cooking, and when I share photos with people I text with, they are amazed at some of the food I cook, so I will be bringing some of those recipes. I have created a book of recipes that I constantly do. A lot of these recipes are not things I've came up with. They are mixtures of stuff that I've tried that I thought would go good together, such as garlic steak with colorful potatoes, which are basically just yellow and purple or red. And I'll do some more reviews. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix, and I've been getting a lot of screeners, so I will talk about some of these movies I've been watching. If you go up on my YouTube, I am doing what did I call it? I think I called it Countdown to Halloween Horror Marathon. I've been watching horror movies daily, so I will be bringing you the poster and the synopsis of some of the movies I've been watching. They're not always very gory horror movies. I think the last one I did was a horror comedy that I enjoyed. They're not all very popular movies. Some are indie movies that you might never have heard of, but I enjoyed them, and I think you will too. Um, Other than that, I will be putting a lot of YouTube content up. I have been doing a lot of interviews with people, so check that out. I will bring you more clips from movies that I am allowed to share. And I've also been doing some Instagram TV. I will try to do some more Instagram live. I know I don't go live too often, but hopefully some of the people I interview will not mind doing an Instagram live with me. Other than that, my final words. Optimism is not a delusion people have. Pessimism is not a delusion. Labels are not exact. People are not one dimensional. For years, I was called the weird kid, the goth kid, the loner, the nerd. And I know I asked people around me, people I know, who they were in high school or who they saw themselves as. I usually get to the responses of the cheerleader, the punk, the bookworm, the band geek, anything like that. Then I get asked who I was, and I respond with a long hyphenated list of words. I have no idea who I was really. I don't feel like I really had a grasp of who I was. I doubt anybody out there who knew me in high school would have told you I was the person I am now. Not even a shadow of who I am now. I don't think any of the people I went to high school with fall into the single word description. I played sports, I got great grades, I went to certain after school clubs when I could, I did wear black, I was a loner, I was a multi hyphenated person, I believe. I was complex. My high school life was distinct in many ways I don't talk about, many reasons that not many people know. The term complex seems like an understatement when you talk about people. There was a project I had to do for AP English my senior year where I had to choose a song which best described me. Weirdly enough, I chose the song One by Metallica. It was the song I chose because I always felt like walking through the halls of my high school, I didn't feel like I had a voice or my voice was heard. Like I couldn't really do anything. I was just not really seen. It wasn't because of anyone in my high school. I'm not blaming them. It was me. I take responsibility for who I was. As I took uh, as I took responsibility back then, I'm taking responsibility now. The more I took responsibility for who I was, the more complex things got. I owned my weirdness and I was okay with it. I wrote on my shoes, I drew it on my backpack, and as much as I tried to be in the background, the things I did made me stand out. Maybe not always for the best reasons. All that is okay. I was coming to terms with myself. Everyone around me was. Some people embraced who they were, some people denied it, and some were confused. I felt fortunate that we all had the opportunity to explore these personalities. I felt the English assignment became a way for me and each of us to show our acceptance of who we are, and much like coming out for the LGBTQIA plus community, it's empowering to voice out who we are. Always look for ways to explore your personality. Be okay with changing your personality with every experience you have in life. Who you are today learns from everyday experience. Your ideas grow, your point of views expand. You get to be more comfortable with yourself. Find ways to be who you are. Be comfortable in your skin. Use all the tools at your disposal to be that you that which you want to be. Do it for you. You will never be wrong. As always, you are cared for. You are loved. And let's talk again soon.